welcome to episode 442 of Retro Encounter, the RPG fan podcast of many topics. I'm Mike Sollosi, and today I'm going to be your draft commissioner for this episode because we're doing another one of our fantasy drafts, and also, coincidentally, kicking off a Legend of Zelda month for Retro Encounter, in which we're doing 4 dedicated episodes to games in the Legend of Zelda series. So smart listeners have figured out by now this is a draft of The Legend of Zelda. But before we go into the rules and regulations, let's introduce the other team captains, starting with Lucas Greene.
Good morning.
And Aleks Franiczek.
Hello.
And Noah Leiter.
Hello.
And Hilary Andreff.
Hi, good to be back on Retro.
Hilary, Noah, Aleks, Lucas, we've done these fantasy draft episodes before, or at least most of us have. And so I don't want to go over long into explaining what it's going to be exactly, but we're going to use a snake draft format to each pick different elements, pieces, and favorite characters and items from the Legend of Zelda series to assemble, let's say, a team. Like each of us was going to end up with a scenario involving characters and locations and items that might be a fun time or a fun collection of Zelda things. We are not trying to compete against each other in a Zelda league, although that would be kind of weird and fun. We're not trying to listeners vote on the best one in the YouTube comments, nothing like that. We're basically using this as a gamified format to discuss 40 of our favorite things within the Legend of Zelda series, because we have 8 positions across 5 different teams. I'll just go right into it. We 2 of the positions are for characters, 2 of the positions are for items or abilities, 2 of the positions are for locations, and 2 of the positions are flexes. One which we're calling a Zelda flex, which can be any of the previous 3 categories: a third character, third item, or third location. And the latter flex is the super flex, which can be any character, item, or location within reason from any Nintendo game. So going beyond Zelda into anything from Nintendo. And just a couple things. The item slot can be an item or ability that is typically equipped by choice to your character. Location is not like an entire island or an entire game setting. It can be a dungeon or a town or a sub-region. Like you can't draft all of Hyrule, but you could draft Hyrule Field or Lake Hylia or Death Mountain. And when you draft a character, we're going to say they start with some basic equipment, like what they might have at the beginning of a game, but within reason. Like I think that Breath of the Wild Link gets a sword, shield, and a glider, but maybe not a bow, because a bow is a probably in-demand item to be drafted later. And lastly, once something is drafted, it cannot be drafted again by any other player, and that counts for all versions of an item. So once someone drafts a hook shot, no one can draft a hook shot or a long shot. I feel like that's one of them that's going to come up. But with 2 exceptions, we are going to allow game-specific versions of Link and Zelda, because otherwise it'd be a little unfair for one person to get Link and no one else gets any version of Link. So that's most of the rules, I think. We're going in a snake draft order, and we determined the draft before recording. So the order is going to be Lucas, then Aleks, then Noah, then myself, then Hilary. And round 2 is going to be Hilary, then myself, then Noah, then Aleks, then Lucas. And then we're going to repeat that cycle of 8 4 times. So do we have any questions before we just pop off into it? Because I think I've gone over most things, but maybe not everything.
Let's pop off.
All right. If we have a question or a conflict or a disagreement, we will litigate them in the moment. And so, as I just described a few seconds ago, Lucas, you have the first overall pick of round 1. So what's it going to be? My anxiety is spiking.
So I'm going to start off with what I think is going to be the most in-demand item from my list, and it's something you already mentioned, or a variation on it. I'm going to take the double claw shot from Twilight Princess.
Yep.
Solid.
You know, it's, in my opinion, the coolest version of the hookshot, which is often one of the coolest weapons or items in a Zelda game. You get to explore in 3 dimensions, and yeah, I enjoy it.
I forget which dungeon it is, but there's the dungeon where you get the claw shot, or maybe it's where you get the second one. You were sort of like shooting between pillar to pillar, like suspended over a pit, and that's like that was like a level of I don't know, a level of like Uncharted or like verticalities or space that I hadn't really expected in a Zelda game prior. That's a very cool weapon. I'm not shocked that a version of the hook shot it went in the first round. But everyone else, we think does this lock out every other hook shot, long shot, and claw shot?
I agree.
Because
Yes.
Sadly, yes.
my instinct is yes as well.
Yeah.
It was first on my list too. To be
Same.
honest.
Same. So close.
If someone really wants a switch hook from Oracle of Ages, I don't know. Actually, you know what? Maybe never mind. That one's gone too. But so Aleks, you have the second pick, but it can't be any variation of a hook shot.
Sadly, yes. Okay. Yeah, mine was actually going to be exactly the double claw shot. So well done, Lucas. You did it. I guess I will now instead pivot to characters. Not sure. I'm going to draft a version of Link. Not sure if anybody else has been looking at this version specifically, but I wouldn't want to lose him. So I'm going to draft the Majora's Mask Link. Who's
interesting.
I guess the Hero of Time Link, part 2. I think it's like the best Link has ever gotten as a character. He's got like some serious like traumatic baggage going at this point, and like going from like an outcast of the Kokiri to like somebody who has to like forcibly become an adult to like battle a post-apocalypse, to going to find peace in a new town and then being met with another apocalyptic force. I think this Link is the most interesting he's gotten as a character. I like that I'll be able to start with a solid sword and a metal shield. Have the potential to get just as strong as adult Link in Ocarina of Time, because I guess I've already been an adult. And I just love Majora's Mask's main mechanics of the masks. I don't know if I get every transformative mask at this point, but if I could at least get the Deku mask as kind of like his starting transformation, I would love that, because I just like going to the pond and jumping around as Deku Link.
Because I think you do get that in like the first 15 minutes of the game or
Yeah.
something.
Mhm.
I will allow the Deku mask and no other masks unless you draft some masks later.
I think that's fair.
Does the council accept this ruling?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, right on.
Perfect.
Okay, so Noah, you have the third pick of the first round. Yeah, in fact, I think the math works out. You have the third pick of every round.
Ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, bum, bum. With the third pick in the 2024 The Legend of Zelda Tokyo Drifty Draft, Noah Leiter chooses Zelda from The Echoes of Wisdom.
Oh,
Who I assume comes with the magic rod that can make items.
the Tri-Rod.
Tri-Rod,
And
yes.
Tri-Rod,
yes.
yes.
that makes echoes.
Oh.
I have to admit this was on my board. I don't think she was my number one pick, but I possibly first pick of second round. We're giving you the Tri-Rod, but basically nothing else, because that Tri-Rod is a many splendored thing, you could say.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's on the level of all the masks, I feel, which feels a little OP to me. But if all I can make is beds, then I'll accept.
That's still pretty good.
That limitation.
Look, we were talking about this next week. You want trampolines, water blocks, and then a couple like maybe bird attackers, like some gways or some seagulls. Then you're basically set.
I like to walk around in that game with the bats, just like summon all the bats that I can and just be like a vampire Zelda, which I think would be a fun character in a different context. Maybe
turning Echoes of Wisdom into Symphony of the Night. That kind of works.
Yeah, exactly. Or the next Hyrule Warriors, we could get a vampire Zelda inspired by that. That would be so super duper to me.
I would think a vampire is a little bit too dark for Zelda, but Echoes of Wisdom literally has executions and drug addiction in it. So you know what? The door is wide open now.
Hell yeah.
Just give her the low rule color palette.
Oh, the Hilda color
Yeah.
palette? Yeah, okay. Ooh, Hilda. Maybe I could draft her later on. Well, we'll see. Maybe that was a smokescreen to make you draft Hilda so I can draft something else. Neither is correct, but it's my pick, and I'm going to go with the thing that I think EOW Zelda was maybe my second on my list overall. Number one overall, I'm drafting the Ultra Hand from Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. That's so good.
It's the defining gimmick of that game. It gives you sort of limited telekinesis to pick up and hold almost any object and then attach it to any other object. It's unrelated to the fusion power, which allows you to attach objects to your weapon and then attack. So I can't put bombs on my arrows with the Ultra Hand, but I can put almost any other two objects together to make almost anything. And I mean, I have not finished Tears of the Kingdom. It's either that or Majora's Mask is the highest profile Zelda that I have yet to complete. But it is once you sort of get it, it is so fun to play around with. A lot of the game sort of becomes what shenanigans can you get into with the Ultra Hand, and so yeah, that's my number one overall pick.
It's very versatile. You can do so
Excellent.
many things with that.
Yeah, your imagination is literally the limit of that item. So
Yeah, that and the tri-rod both.
Yeah.
There's a lot of creative expression in the Ultra Hand and the Tri-Rod. And I was wondering if like I could just draft Tears of the Kingdom Link and he sort of comes with the Ultra Hand, but I think that's a little unfair because like even though the Ultra Hand is sort of the signature gimmick of Tears of the Kingdom, it's almost too powerful to be a character and an item combined. I almost felt the same way about the Tri-Rod, but but really that Zelda has nothing else besides the Tri-Rod. So
It's
yeah,
true.
I'm going with Ultra Hand.
I mean, Zelda can like transform, in Echoes of Wisdom, but it's like transform into Link being the item that comes with her just feels sort of like we're making a Link.
No,
Out of
yeah.
Zelda.
I would almost have to draft like Echo Link as another character.
Yeah.
That's
Whatever
a
you get,
thought.
you get the Tri-Rod, so we're not expanding your first round picks abilities any further.
No,
But anyway,
yeah.
Hilary, it's your turn. We are at the end of the first round, so you get 2 picks in a row. End of the
Ooh.
first and beginning of the second.
Okay, well, this is probably gonna maybe reveal a little bit about my ideas and overall plan. But I think I'm gonna go with the thing. I'm gonna lock in the thing that's really kind of central to my whole idea first, and draft Wind Waker Link. I want the Wind Waker.
Got it.
I love it. I love the music. I love the idea of
Yes.
exploring the Great Sea. I enjoy how expressive that game is. Kind of the opposite of traumatized Majora's Mask Link. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
I know you weren't asking for this explanation, Hilary, but I'm gonna allow this. I think you get the Wind Waker, and which also allows you to summon the King of all Lions.
I agree
Ooh.
with that.
Oh, what do I want to do next?
Oh.
So along with Wind Waker Link, I think I'm going to draft another character, and I'm going to draft Cass. I really want my bird friend.
The bard from Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's been so long since I played Breath of the Wild. I couldn't
Yep.
remember their name. Oh, interesting. Huh. Cass was not on my draft board. There was no danger of me sniping them from you. But Lucas, Aleks, or Noah, how close were you to going for Wind Waker Link or Cass?
Wind Waker Link for sure was top Link for me, personally.
I actually had Cass on one of my lists.
Oh,
Not the one
Okay,
I
all right.
finalized.
So that was not a wasted shot by Hilary.
oh good.
Very
good.
interesting.
Okay.
Because I don't think either of them were very close to me. But now I am in the enviable position of trying to figure out what on my list is most in danger of being taken by one of these 3 miscreants ahead of me.
Yes.
Actually, six picks ahead of me. I'm looking at these things. I think a handful of these are safe. A handful aren't. I think the things I care about the most are items. So I want my favorite item from my favorite Legend of Zelda game, and I'm going with the nice version of the Fire Rod from A Link Between Worlds. So now all fire rods are unavailable, and this thing, I don't know if you've ever played around with it before, but once you upgrade that fire rod, you get pillars of flame that just annihilate everything in the game. It is so much fun playing with the upgraded items in A Link Between Worlds, and my favorite is the fire rod. So yep, nice fire rod is off the table.
Nice.
Exactly. Now you're getting it.
Does that mean the magic rods?
Pick.
I think fire rods are gone for sure. The magic rod, I'm gonna say the magic rod from Zelda 1 and Link's Awakening, is a little different because that has the Link's Awakening one has the same effect as magic powder. So the fire rod is gone, the magic rod is still available, ice rod is still available.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that's my pick, the nice fire rod. Nice. And
Nice.
Noah, it is now your turn because, again, as we said before, you have the third pick in every round. Consequence of
Yeah.
having an odd number of teams.
So I guess this is what, the 7th pick then, or 8th maybe. 7th pick in the draft. I'm gonna go with Outset Island. I'm gonna pick the first location so far.
That's a nice
because,
one.
Thank you.
Interesting.
I love the Wind Waker. And it's my favorite starting location of any video game ever. So that's my pick. It also includes a nice little like dungeon in the forest, but it also includes like a little I don't know what to call it, like a little monster rush, boss rush thing in it, which is cool. And it also has the cutest grandma of all time.
It's a really good video game grandma. I remember her.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she fills me with intense sadness, but also cuteness. So yeah, that's my pick.
That time that you go back to Outset Island, grandma's all like messed up is like one of the saddest things ever.
It's traumatizing.
I'm suddenly thinking of elder harm, so we definitely need to move on to the next pick. Aleks, you have the fourth pick of round 2, and it can be anything because all you've taken so far is one character.
Okay, so I think there aren't too many items that I'm super passionate about, but there are a couple that I'd like. So I didn't get the hook shot, which is unfortunate. So I'll go with another very versatile and fun to use weapon, and choose Rock's Feather from Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
Very nice. I had Rock's Feather and Rock's Cape
Okay.
on my board.
I love how this item essentially turns Link into Mario with a sword. It doesn't really get any better than that. Why do you need Mario anymore when you can have Link jumping around? It's just fun to use in dungeons. It helps with overworld traversal, and it's just you get to jump around where before you were stuck to the ground. So, yeah, Rock's Feather is great.
It is also the first dungeon item of that game, which is
That's
really
right.
cool.
Tail Cave gets you Rock's Feather, and
Mhm.
then I remember in '99 or 2000, my mind getting blown a little bit when they give you a double jump in Rock's Cape in Oracle of Seasons.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yep. That was a good moment.
So, out of curiosity, does that also eliminate the cape?
It does eliminate Rock's Cape because it is a direct upgrade of the Rock's Feather. But I
That's
think
what I thought.
Aleks is preferring to live in Link's Awakening and not the Oracle games. So you went with Feather instead of Cape. Is that
Exactly.
fair, Aleks?
Yeah.
Cool. But yeah, so Rock's Cape is also gone now. But Lucas, you do have 2 picks in a row, end of the second round and beginning of the third.
Okay, well, that does take one of my picks off the table. That was going to be my next pick.
Well, got you back,
Um,
Lucas.
You removed
got me
every hook
back.
shot, so you're not allowed to
did.
complain. I think all 4 of the other of us had a version of a hook shot on our board somewhere.
Well, if I can't have the Rock's Cape, I think I'm going to go with a different cape for my second pick. I'm going to take the Magic Cape from A Link to the Past.
Oh yeah, so full invisibility and spike immunity, among maybe other things I'm forgetting.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it makes you
Lets you get
invincible
around.
and invisible.
I don't think
And
it's
it's-
required for anything in the game, unless
Yeah, and it not any of the dungeons.
yeah, it's not. It's by far the safest way to get the Cane of Burna.
Yeah, I think the only thing is there's the cave with the bumper where there's a heart piece.
Okay. Oh, that makes sense. Sure, but still, it's very like going invisible and invincible as a get out of jail free card, or to walk across some spikes. It's a cool item. I sort of wish they had done more with it in that game.
There's a lot of items in that game that have very limited actual use, but they're still cool.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I love that game, I don't think anyone has Book of Mudora on their draft board exactly. But Lucas, you do have another pick right now, the first pick of round
Okay.
3.
So I think I'm gonna dip into characters now, and been a little bit torn on what I want to do with this. I think what I'm gonna do is go with Hura from Tears of the Kingdom.
Yura from Tears of the Kingdom. Okay, I've only played the beginning of Tears of the Kingdom. I'm struggling to remember this character. What's their deal?
Well, I haven't actually played Tears of the Kingdom either, but I
Wait a
have played
second.
Breath of the Wild. And it's an evolution of the same character. It's the inventor in Breath of the Wild. One of the two
right.
Sheikah inventors.
I did meet that person when I played the beginning of Breath of the Wild last year.
And among other things, she's the one who invented the upgraded Sheikah slate in Tears of the Kingdom, which is the Pura Pad. So I want her as kind of she feels like a good NPC to have along on your journey. Like, she invents things, she knows things, she's got, info for you. She's kind of a good Q branch character.
Yeah. I was gonna specifically say the Q to Link's Bond.
I like that. I think I kind of picked Cass for similar reasons, just because he, is just awesome, but also he gives you some context. He knows history instead of the world specifically. Like, he has some idea about the history, and seems like he'd be helpful.
Yeah, I mean, now you don't even have to draft a Pura pad, because you could just get Pura to make you a new one, right?
That's her basic item, right?
That unlocks so many items that you could buy with rupees or other items.
I don't think we can have Pura sell Lucas anything, but them providing a version of a Pura pad, or at least a starting version of one, I think is reasonable. ? But I mean, great pick, especially for just the versatility of that character, and I know that Pura is well liked in Tears of the Kingdom. I just struggle to remember a character's name unless I really put hard time into a game, and I haven't done that for Tears of the Kingdom, regrettably. But Aleks, you have one character and one item chosen, and you have the second pick of the third round. So where are we going with this?
I think I'll just even things out with a location. Unfortunately, I didn't get a good gauge on whether there are any other Majora's Mask fiends in here with my first pick, so I think I'm going to play it safe and do another Majora's Mask pick and go with Clocktown, which is just one of my favorite places in any video game, and one that made like a very, very strong impression on me when I was a kid, in terms of just being this space that's like fully simulated and that like feels alive across like the three in-game days that keep repeating. It's like a hub filled with like, I don't know, a dozen plus side quests that are revolve around like genuinely like interesting characters, some of the best NPCs you can find in a Zelda game. I love Majora's Mask side quests. I love getting to know the characters. I love seeing their roots kind of evolve throughout the days, seeing encounters like what the mailman does throughout the day, seeing the old bomb shop lady getting robbed and having to like kind of help her out. All the Andrew and Cafe kind of romantic drama, the milk bar that you have to get secret access to. Like this place is just so alive and rich with like characters and things to do. And I just love it. And also, since Metaphor ReFantasio is at the top of everyone's mind, like let's be real, like Grand Trad with that big moon head hovering over it, that's a big time Clocktown reference.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, both of them are just inferior versions of Kamurocho, but I'll accept that.
There's no milk bar in Kamurocho.
Yeah, it's because there's like 8 real bars.
Yeah, well, you can't get a latte there. Good old milk latte. That's what I used to call it as a kid.
All right. Well, I mean that is an iconic location from within Majora's Mask, but now it is off the table for everyone else. But Noah, you've picked a location and one character, so our boards are still fairly empty. What are you going for in round 3?
I'm gonna go for an item this time, and this item has more of a personal connection. My first Zelda game was Link's Awakening on the Game Boy Color, the deluxe version. And the item that version allows you to get through an extra dungeon is the color tunic. And there are 2 versions of the color tunic, along with corresponding items. You get a piece of power. You can get double attack, and the Guardian Acorn gives you double resistance to damage, and you can get a corresponding color tunic to each of those.
Yes, I mean, a piece of power and Guardian Acorns are items you find randomly in the field that are temporary bonuses. But in Link's Awakening DX, you can get the red tunic or blue tunic that gives you like a permanent version of one of those. So
Correct.
Noah, I don't think I can let you draft the color tunic, but you can pick the red or the blue.
I see.
Because I mean, Link isn't even allowed to have both at once in the game.
Sure. Actually, that's not true, though. So this is
What?
why this has a personal connection to me. So in that game, if you're an idiot or a child, like I was at the time, and you don't understand how to get into the first dungeon, you can spend enough time in the overworld that you kill 80 enemies without entering a house or a dungeon. And by doing so, the game will give you both of the tunics at the same time, and you'll get a tunic that flashes.
Ooh.
What?
Yeah.
Mm.
And that's the tunic that I
Okay.
want. I will accept the
Okay.
limitations of this game to
man.
get one or the other. But
Okay, the commissioner's gonna do some background research right now.
I may be the first person also. I want to point out, I might be the first person who ever discovered this, and it was truly by accident. And having owned the game for a couple of weeks as a child and not been able to figure out how to exchange items with the witch in the witch hut to like get through the like mysterious forest puzzle, and yeah, and I got that tunic, so I want to point that out also.
Okay, it looks like it is a glitch, and it's killing 90 enemies in the field.
90 enemies, okay.
But the 90th one does it depends on which enemy you kill for your 90th, and it will get you either a red or blue tunic or a flashing one with no effect,
Correct.
or a third or a dark tunic with no effect. I don't see a way of getting both effects active at the same time.
My impression was that the flashing one gives you both effects at the same time.
No, the flashing
Maybe
one just gets the flashing effect of you being damaged, but there's no actual effect. So, okay, I was not aware of that glitch. That's hilarious.
Well, I want the flashing tunic, even if it doesn't have the effect.
Oh, you want the you know what? All right, okay, I'll get you the okay flashing tunic.
He just wants to look good.
I'm playing fashion Zelda here.
You're just like you're playing
Fashion's also
Disco's
important.
Awakening right now. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you call it Fashion Fantasy in FF14. You call it Fashion Hunter and Monster Hunter. We've all been there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the flashing tunic. It does not appear to give you both effects, but it is a way of giving yourself one of the color tunics without going into the color dungeon, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I had never even heard of that glitch, so there was no danger of me drafting it. Noah, you might have been able to save that one for later in the game.
Well, I wanted to share the anecdote, so it was.
It's very appreciated because I've definitely learned something today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, but okay, maybe now I'm going to go with a slightly obvious pick for me. I do have a favorite minor Zelda character, and I was briefly terrified of someone drafting this guy ahead of my turn. So I'm very, very happy that I'm able to get my first character pick in unheeded. I'm going with Ravio from The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. I'm going to minor spoilers for this game. Has everyone here played it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, good. So, listeners, spoilers for A Link Between Worlds. Ravio is a man in a pinkish purplish tunic with a bunny hat who is the person that gives Link all of the rental items, which can eventually be bought permanently and then upgraded by Link. I'm giving him as a starting weapon because Ravio in Hyrule Warriors, the Dynasty Warriors Zelda game, because he can equip several weapons, but his starting weapon is a hammer. So I'm going to say that Ravio comes with a regular hammer item. Is that acceptable?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right on. Okay.
Sounds good.
So yeah, Ravio comes with a hammer, but he has a really, really remarkable story arc in that game. I love that there's a sort of a final reveal that ties into Link's appearance in A Link to the Past that just made me really enjoy Ravio's arc. He's a character that sort of knows more than what's going on, and he provides items for Link. I don't want to say like a second main character or anything, but he's a crucial NPC, and I've always enjoyed Ravio a lot. And he comes with a hammer, so that sort of is a sneaky way of me getting another pretty good item on my team. So yeah, Ravio is my pick in round 3 of the Zelda draft.
That was on my board for one of my other sets that I had put together.
Okay.
And
you had multiple scenario sets planned.
I had multiple scenario sets, and if I had gone later in the first round, I was planning on taking Ravio because I know you like A Link Between Worlds, and I was afraid he was going to get taken. So,
spoiler: that might not be my last Link Between Worlds pick because again, that is my favorite Zelda game. But I think I am done picking for now. Hilary, you get 2 picks in a row, the end of the 3rd round and the beginning of the 4th. And some things are disappearing from the available pool, but there's still a unthinkable number of characters, items, and locations to choose from. So let's see what you got.
Yeah, my anxiety is spiking over an item category, so I think I'm going to have to do that first. And I'm going to grab a flute. I'm going to grab the Link to the Past flute.
Nice.
I'm going to say flute / ocarina. Because they call it a flute in the Link to the Past's English translation, but I mean,
it looks like an ocarina.
Look at the damn thing; it's an ocarina. I mean, the trees in Echoes of Wisdom even look like ocarinas because of their role in Link to the Past. It lets you summon a bird and teleport around.
Fast travel.
It's a great item.
Love it, and love birds. So now I've kind of got a bird theme going.
Oh, you do? Wow,
true.
So maybe we'll see like Rivali drafted as a flex or something.
Maybe. I'm also going to go with a location, which is the Temple of Time.
Got it.
Ooh,
Which Temple of Time? Is this Ocarina Temple of Time or is this Twilight Princess Temple of Time?
I'm going to say Ocarina.
Got it.
I haven't really done much Ocarina specifics, so let's do that.
So this is the Link to the Past Ocarina, and the Ocarina of Time Temple of Time.
Why not?
Sure. This does lock out all other versions of ocarinas or temples of time.
Yeah.
For
those are the things
else.
I was most concerned about, so I'm just putting them out there.
I'm into it.
Cool. Yeah.
I Ocarina was sort of low on my draft board, but it was present. So if a lot of my top picks got taken, I might have gone for a flute / ocarina. But I got my Ultra Hand on my nice fire rod, so I was not in any danger of getting.
Yeah.
But it is my pick now, and I think I am going to follow in Hilary's footsteps and draft a location. I'm going to go with and you know what? The cat's out of the bag on how much I love A Link Between Worlds, so I'm going with my favorite A Link Between Worlds dungeon, and that's the Thieves' Hideout.
Yeah, that's the best one in that game. What a dungeon!
It's great. You escape from jail, assisting a thief girl. You have to sort of in parallel solve puzzles in the dungeon with her. It's an adaptation of the Link to the Past Thieves Town / Thieves Hideout dungeon, where there's also a girl that you help rescue in that one, but she ends up being the dungeon boss in disguise. And also Thieves Hideout sort of doesn't have the mysterious painting to locate in the set that you do in the second half of Link Between Worlds. The thief girl stole it, and your reward for helping escape the dungeon is her giving you the painting back from out of her house, which is a nice little twist. But yeah, I love how there's sort of like these double pronged puzzles in it. The new version of Blind the Thief is a really cool boss. It's my favorite dungeon in my favorite Zelda game, so I went for it.
Yeah, I was really glad you didn't end up having to fight her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was worried that she would turn into Blind the Thief, like Link to the Past. But thankfully, it never came to that.
Yeah, I'm glad that they flipped it for this one. How it's like a very similar concept, but they didn't just repeat the same idea over again. So I think this is like straight up better than Link to the Past version too.
Mhm.
Yeah, most of the dungeons in that game have an analog in A Link to the Past, but it's never a total retread.
Yeah.
They'll share an idea or a theme and then do something totally different with it. And they switch the locations of the Ice Palace and Turtle Rock. So I mean, they're completely different games. I don't know why they say that they're sequels or anything. I mean, they stand on their own completely, of course.
Yeah, of course. Although I will say the Zelda series is one of the best iterating on things.
Agreed.
So like,
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a great example of that.
I mean, the double claw shot was the number 1 overall pick, and that's after multiple iterations of hookshot. But Noah, you can pick an iteration on something if you like. It is your pick now. We're in the middle of the 4th round.
Yeah, I think I might have the steal of the draft if nobody's picked this yet. And correct me if I'm wrong. I have missed a few in my notations here. But I'm gonna pick Ricky from The Legend of Zelda Ocarina or Oracle of Seasons.
Yeah, Oracle of Seasons or Ages. He's in both. But yeah, I actually did have Ricky as a maybe on my list. I wasn't just joking when I mentioned him earlier. Yeah, and I mean, look, we even went over it a little bit. I think Ricky's the best of the 3 animal companions.
I agree with that. I tend to agree with that. There's just some versatility there in just like movement and jumping and punching that it's like having a mech in a Zelda game. And Zelda has done that again now with Tears of the Kingdom, but until then that was the only time that I can think of, at least, where there was some sort of like mech component to the game. And I just think
I
that's
have the
really
Ultra
cool.
Hand. I can make my own Ricky.
I'm gonna need somebody to transport Zelda, but yeah, I think my organic mech is better than yours, Mike. I gotta be honest.
Yeah, I'm not sure I have boxing gloves in the game that I can properly attach to my mecha arms. But no. Ricky was on my board, but he was pretty far down, so I don't know if there was a danger of me getting him. But it's a solid pick regardless.
Thank you, Ricky the Kangaroo. You're mine.
I would have to seriously think about it if someone else had taken Ravio. But Aleks, it is your pick. You have 1 each of character, item / ability, and location. So let's go with what you have next.
Yeah, I'll keep spreading out and do my first flex, I think, which is going to be a boss.
All right, I'm going to hold you off, Aleks.
Sure.
If you draft a dungeon, then its boss is part of the dungeon, because that is something that you might encounter in the dungeon. But if you're going for a final boss kind of thing, I think that can be a character, and you still have a character slot available. So what I'm saying is this does not have to dominate your flex. If it's a dungeon boss, I would say just get the dungeon. But if it's a final boss or a key antagonist, just draft it as a character. And you can save your flex for whatever you want. Because I don't want you to pick your flex when you already have an item, character, and location slot open.
Yeah, but I have different ideas for those.
All right, if you want to make this your flex, I'll allow it, I guess. But just tell us what it is, and we'll write it down.
Because the thing is, I don't actually want to draft the Water Temple, but but I do want to draft Dark Link, because that is just one of the coolest encounters
There it is.
in like any Zelda game. I think it's like a genuinely like very well set up boss fight. Like you walk into that room, it's just like misty. There's like just a shallow like water along the ground. There's a tree in the middle. Incredibly beautiful environment. Your kind of reflections falling along in the water after you as you walk through the room. It suddenly disappears. You get to the other side of the room, it's locked, and then there he is, your shadow self, just standing under the tree in the middle of the room.
I think I realized where you were going the moment you said, I don't want to draft the Water Temple.
I figured that was a giveaway. Yeah.
I figured, I was like, he doesn't want Morpho.
Everybody's got shade for that dungeon, but I love that dungeon.
Honestly, I don't hate it either.
I didn't even attempt that dungeon until I was in my 20s. I never had an N64, so I played Ocarina of Time fairly late on a GameCube Zelda collection disc. So I didn't struggle with the Water Temple that much, but frankly, I get it. I understand people's frustrations with it. I'm sure in 1998, if I was, not quite middle school age trying to play that thing, I would have been part of the ire for it. But no, Dark Link's cool. No denying that.
Yeah, it's just like designed as a duel, kind of like if you thrust, like he kind of jumps on your sword and messes you up. So you just kind of have to like either avoid Z targeting him, resulting in like a cool kind of like playstyle variation, or you could just cheese him with the Megaton hammer and just smash him into the ground over and over, which is a great little workaround if you don't want to fight him, honestly.
I think I removed Z targeting and I would do spin slices with his back to me is how I got him.
Yeah, that's another very valid strategy, but very cool fight.
So Lucas, Dark Link is off the table.
Okay.
But you have the last pick of round 4 and the first pick of round 5 ready. Up to you right now, back to back.
Okay. I think I'm gonna take my first location next. I'm not sure if this is in any danger, but I think it's a really cool location. So we're gonna go with Gerudo Fortress from Ocarina of Time.
Nice. I was considering it too.
Okay, so that's sort of the town area of the Gerudo and not the Spirit Temple?
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has an awesome music track to it, which is, always a great reason to pick something in a Zelda game. And while I understand that most people probably don't like stealth sections, I feel like there's something there's something to this one that is actually enjoyable.
Oh, that's why I forgot about this part of the game. Right. Okay. I usually excise the stealth sections of Zelda games out of my brain shortly after doing them.
This one's good though.
Yeah, I like it. It's very cleverly designed, like kind of mini dungeon that turns into like kind of a village after you get through it. It's a very unique and cool location. With you're right, a banging song.
Yeah, no, the song's great. And the Gerudo as a people are really cool, and this is sort of our first introduction to them. So it's definitely a cool location. I'm just not going to defend this any stealth part of any Zelda game.
Fair enough.
Is my ludicrous bias here?
What about Echoes of Wisdom? I feel like that's a big component of that game.
Yeah, there's 2 of them. One at the beginning with the soldiers, and then in the Deku jail. And I would throw both of them in the trash. So yeah.
You know what? The stealth section could definitely be worse.
Right on. And so with that, we are halfway through our draft. So I think I'll give a recap of everything that we've picked so far. And again, except for different versions of Link, nothing that's been picked so far can be picked again by any other player. I should say other than versions of Link or Zelda. So once one version of something is drafted, everything else is gone. But so far, we have Lucas has drafted the character Pura, the items Double Claw Shot and Magic Cape, and the location Gerudo Fortress. Aleks has drafted Link from Majora's Mask, the Rock's Feather from Link's Awakening, Clock Town from Majora's Mask, and Dark Link from Ocarina of Time. Noah has drafted Zelda from Echoes of Wisdom, Ricky from the Oracle duo of Game Boy Color games, the Flashing Tunic from Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, and Outset Island from Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. I've drafted Ravio from The Legend of Zelda Link Between Worlds, the Ultra Hand from Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, the Nice Fire Rod from Link Between Worlds, and the Thieves Hideout from Link Between Worlds. My strategy is pretty clear at this point. And Hilary's 4 picks so far are Link from Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, Cass from Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, the Flute/Ocarina from Legend of Zelda A Link to the Past, and the Temple of Time location from Ocarina of Time. So we're halfway through. We're at pick number 1 of round 5, which brings us back to Lucas once again. What's it going to be at the beginning of round 5?
My 5th pick is going to be something to make the stealth section more bearable.
Oh, really? I mean, you already have the Magic Cape, dude.
I do. And you know what makes the Magic Cape even better? When a ninja's wearing it. So,
I see where this is going.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking, I'm Maybe.
This is our
Oh,
second
I'm
Zelda.
actually going to go with Impa
Oh.
from the Age of Calamity.
Okay.
Okay.
Imp. Okay, okay, this is the sort of tall ninja version of Impa that's in the second Koei developed Zelda Warriors style game. Um, and is it fair for me to say this feels like an evolved version of Ocarina of Time Impa?
I believe this. I did some background reading on this one because I was trying to decide which version of Impa I wanted, and this is actually the version from Breath of the Wild when she was younger, like during the
Oh,
Calamity War.
I see. Okay, that's interesting. I'm not very familiar with Age of Calamity, so what's her starting equipment?
She has like a glaive.
She uses naginatas, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay, so like sort of a large shuriken or glaive and a naginata.
I believe so.
Cool. All right.
Very nice. I
I'll
love
have
that
to
you
look
got
at.
both of the sisters too.
I'll have to
Red
look
info.
for
Yep.
art of this without and keep, but maybe keep safe search on just in case.
Yeah.
You can never be too careful with a
It's
game
true.
like this. Oh, this is a cool version of Impa. Yeah, it doesn't really
Yeah,
look like
yeah.
any other version of Impa either. I'm not used to seeing her this young.
Aleks, you can see why or hopefully see with all of these put together why I was looking for that rocks cape, because that would be really cool. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you would be full on ninja if you had all those tools in your belt.
Ah, yes, this is a draft for The Legend of Ninja, Impa's Adventure.
It is now.
Okay. I'm going to be honest. I would play whatever game Noah's coming up with so far.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thanks to recent events, Zelda games definitely don't need to have Link as the central protagonist. But Aleks, you already do have a Link as the central protagonist of your team, but still have a lot of spaces left to draft. What's it going to be in round 5?
I think it's about time I draft a dungeon. I got quite a few picks here, so I'll just, I guess, pick one at random out of these because I'd be happy with any of them. Just for variety, let's go into Twilight Princess because despite all its faults, this game does have some of the best dungeons in the series. And I think my favorite out of all of those is the Snow Peak Ruins, which has a great entrance into it where you're snowboarding down towards it from the peak of the mountain on a leaf. It's got a really unique sort of like lived-in layout with like inhabited by NPCs, the sort of like Yeti couple, and you see like the husband Yeti like cooking soup for his like sick Yeti wife, and you can even like scoop your bottle in there and get some Yeti soup for healing. It's got the ball and chain as kind of its core item, which is just like such a fun item to use, both for like kind of progression, breaking big blocks of ice, and also for like deflecting projectiles in battle, and also just absolutely annihilating enemies. It's just like a really unique sort of dungeon design that manages to kind of combine like its narrative, like a bit of narrative, some like great atmosphere, and just sort of like a unique concept of being this like this mansion where like things actually live. So yeah, I loved this dungeon.
I love this dungeon too. It's my favorite in Twilight Princess.
Same.
I had it second or third on my locations list, so there was a chance I was going to get it soon. So good on you, Aleks, for snapping this one up. It's a great dungeon. I mean, I think Twilight Princess is a bit of a problem of giving you items that are not useful once you depart the dungeon you find them in.
Yeah,
That's mostly a criticism of the Arbitrus grounds and the spinner. But the ball and chain is sort of like this game's version of a hammer, and it does go beyond that criticism a little bit. But yeah, Snow Peak Ruins is really, really good. I love that dungeon.
I love that dungeon too. I think it's one of the most beautiful in any Zelda game, and holds up remarkably well. Notwithstanding the face of the Yeti, which still terrifies me. Just like the flat texture of that. I do want to point out that it's also like, it reminds me of the Resident Evil mansion so much, just from
yeah,
that first
100%.
room, you know?
Yeah,
It gives like that creepy, like abandoned mansion vibe that has like secrets underneath it, you know? which I think is really awesome. So awesome pick.
Alrighty, so speaking of awesome picks, it's your turn to make an awesome pick, Noah. What's it going to be in round 5?
Well, so I was definitely a little gel when Hilary picked Wind Waker Link earlier, and
Fair.
got her prizes. The Wind Waker is fine, you know, it's whatever to me personally, but I'm sad to hear that I can't have the ship from that game. So in an effort to one up you in that, I'm going to choose a location, not an item. You would have thought that this was leading to an item, but it is not. And I'm going to pick from The Legend of Zelda, the Wand of Gamelon.
Whoa.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh my god.
All right. I thought someone might try to troll me with one of the CDI games, but I'll let you finish your thought, Noah.
Maybe being the only person here to have actually played the Philips CDi Legend of Zelda games.
I have not played it, but I have watched a full YouTube playthrough of it.
And maybe this is a bit of a teaser, but partially for a feature that I'm working on about the Legend of Zelda that may or may not be on the site in the next few weeks after this comes out. Hint, hint, wink, wink. I'm gonna pick the Go Beyond ship from the Wand of Gamelon, which is, I think a lot of the locations of that game are actually quite pretty, but this one's maybe my favorite, and it has like a library in it.
Ooh.
And which every ship needs, of course, but it's also just like an enormous ship, and I'm gonna need something for water traversal, since
Okay.
I'm starting at Outset Island,
Yep.
for my draft series, and that's my pick.
I don't think there was any danger of anyone picking this. I might have saved it for round 8 for that reason, but hey, you do you, buddy.
I needed to get it out there.
Just the passion was just bursting from your soul.
How many
know,
other
feel
ships are there? You need to
Yeah,
grab one.
so
I
true.
mean, I'm just saying that this was so ill-advised. I don't think Kevin Costner would have picked it in draft day.
I don't actually. Ricky was the only one I thought of all my picks besides maybe Zelda from the Echoes of Wisdom that I don't like. I don't think you guys are gonna pick any of the other things that I've got. If somebody picks my non-canon flex, like that'll really blow my mind.
There's only been a stolen non-canon flex twice in the history of this game, and I think I did it both times.
Nice.
But I don't think my pick for that is going to be in any danger. It is my turn right now, and I have one character, one location, and 2 flexes left to go. My Nintendo flex is pretty safe. I think my final character and location are considerably less safe. Okay, all right. I'm going to go with a Zelda flex to get a 3rd item. And this item is going to be the Mirror Shield.
Ooh.
Oh, which one?
Good question. There's a lot of good Mirror Shields in these games. I'm trying to think of the different versions of Mirror Shield, and I think that I think that the one from Ocarina of Time might be my favorite, only because it looks really pretty.
Yes.
Because all of them really do a similar thing. They'll reflect beams and fire and are usually the best shield or close to the best shield in their respective games. But the coolest looking one from my memory is Ocarina of Time. So we'll say this is the Ocarina of Time Mirror Shield.
Agreed.
I would have picked the Wind Waker one only because I think it's the most useful one. But you're right, for aesthetics, that's definitely.
And we know
top.
that legend of fashion is important for this
That's
draft,
right.
of course.
That's right.
I think the most beautiful one is easily the Majora's Mask one with the screaming face on it.
Oh my god.
That's fair, but also we've established I haven't played Majora's Mask,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that
I
wasn't really that wasn't really on my list. But now no one else can have a mirror shield, so you're welcome.
It's not
But
as regal.
but Hilary, you do have a location, an item, and 2 flexes left to go. So the world is mostly still your oyster. What's it going to
Ooh.
be at the end of round 5?
I actually think I'm going to need to use my Zelda flex to get one more character for
Alrighty.
reasons maybe I'll explain
Uh-oh, now
Once I'm done with everything.
I'm briefly worried I've made a mistake.
I'm kind of worried right now too.
Oh
I
no.
was thinking the same thing.
No, it's all right. Now, Hilary, let me break our hearts. What's it going to be?
I want to draft Marin from Link's Awakening.
Oh, that's a good pick.
Dang.
That's really good.
That was one of my
That's awesome.
flexes.
Oh,
Oh.
sorry.
My
Right after-
canon flex.
Right after you told us that you were pretty sure your picks were safe.
Well, I figured maybe that one, but I have another one that's good for the flex. Another character.
But now she can't hang out with Ricky and Zelda. That actually
Yeah.
makes me a little sad.
No, but Marin is by far one of the most memorable parts of Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
And she looks really adorable in the 2019 remake. And if I'm not mistaken, because I did look this up a little bit, when I was trying to figure out what different characters would come with if you draft them as a character, like when I was looking up what Rabio had, Marin is in Hyrule Warriors and
Correct.
attacks with oversized bells.
Bells, yep.
So
Which I love.
and her design in that game is really cute too. So
Yep.
yeah, I mean, cool. We got Marin.
You're-
Oh,
Are you
I
putting
could have
together
drafted
a
her as an
band?
item.
Drafting her as an item. Oh, you're right. Oh my god. Well, okay. She's only an item for about 5 seconds
I know.
when you hold her over your head in the and get the item jingle. But really, she's a follower. So I mean,
Yes.
I have to call her a character.
Well,
But you were
let's
putting
not,
her.
though.
But Hilary is drafting Marin as a flex. So technically, Marin is whatever Hilary wants her to be.
Character.
That's true.
I'm not going to deprive her of her personality.
Yeah, please don't objectify
right.
my first crush, okay?
Oh,
My first
boy,
video
first-
game crush.
first video game crushes. That's a whole podcast episode.
Yeah,
But,
right. All right, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to do my other location next, and I'm going to do Crossflows Plaza from Echoes of Wisdom. I adore having the river and the sea Zoras, and I just want everyone else involved in my draft to be able to spend time with both of them. So, yep, that is my choice.
I remember that location.
It's
because
the concert, correct?
It's where the concert is
Mhm.
at that point in the first
Your
half of Echoes
concert
of Wisdom,
venue.
which is it's actually one of the sweetest moments of that whole game.
Yep.
And really it's sort of funny how Zelda games had always been a little bit cagey on what counts as a civilized Zora, because in Ocarina of Time they're like, oh no, those bad Zoras that look like monsters, they're not the same as us. But then they have the king looking like one of them, and all of the women and like looking like these very sort of, oh, I don't know, shark like or mermaid like smoother edge Zoras. But in Echoes of Wisdom they're like, oh no, the river Zoras are the scaly ones, and the sea Zoras are the sharky ones, and they have their differences, but they get along. And now they're throwing a concert. It's actually lovely. I love the Zora part of that game.
I adore that so much, and I love like the jazzy style that the River Zoras have so much.
I do want to say, if the next Nintendo home console can give us both the water effects from the Link's Awakening remake and Echoes of Wisdom, and the grass effects from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, then we're gonna have a darn good looking Legend of Zelda game on that console.
But anyway, speaking of Zora, it's my turn, and maybe you'll see where this is going. I do have a favorite Zora character from a certain Zelda game. I am going with my homeboy Prince Sidon from Breath of the Wild. That guy's great. He pulls you like a chariot to get to the elephant water dungeon in that part of the game in that game whenever you choose to challenge it. He is nothing but a ray of sunshine and positivity. He's Link's bro, and in Age of Calamity he fights with tridents. I can probably throw that mirror shield on him.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically I have Ravio and Sidon now, my two favorite side characters from my two favorite Zelda games.
Those are some
Spoiler alert,
strong picks.
Yeah, so I don't have a Link or a Zelda on my team, but I really like Ravio and Sidon. I think they'll get along just fine.
Great teeth on that Zora.
Doesn't you sort of have a Link?
You know what? You're right. I do sort of have a Link, and I don't want to elaborate on that comment, but that is correct, Lucas.
So are you drafting Final Fantasy 15 then as your having like a little a journey with some
Bro journey.
some bros.
Oh,
Bro journey.
A Zelda road trip with the bros sounds lovely. I will build the car for it with my Ultra
That's
Hand.
what I'm saying.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
yeah.
that's perfect.
I'll power the engine with my nice fire rod.
Yes, exactly.
Well, so okay, maybe Ravio and Sidon are bros on a heist in my version of this story, but I think we've maybe like stayed here a little too long. Noah, you still have an ability / item slot and 2 flexes left to go. What's your pick in round 6?
I'm going for my item slot, and the item that I'm going to choose is the Yoshi doll from Link's
Aw.
Awakening.
Oh,
For aesthetics, one, but also because I have Zelda from the Echoes of Wisdom, and you'll see the logic here. And I have a ship. I can create my Yoshi doll empire by replicating it using the Tri-Rod. And I'm gonna make millions. I'm gonna make rupees, endless rupees.
okay. Look, I get it, but also, even if you upgrade that Tri-Rod all the way to the end, I think you can only make 7 Yoshi dolls.
Yeah, but that is enough to have a little store in my ship.
All right,
Wherever I take
you're
it.
just gonna have disappearing Yoshi dolls create
Oh my-
a pyramid scheme.
Here's
All
the
the
thing,
children of Hyrule, right? They're gonna get Yoshi dolls for about a minute, and then you're gonna make more, and they're just gonna disappear.
If you trifle with me, I'll send Ricky to get you.
I think you're in danger of trifling with enough people that the shopkeeper from Link's Awakening comes after you.
Oh,
And I almost
Don't want
drafted
that.
I almost drafted that asshole as a flex.
Yeah,
That
it's-
would have been a good
Amazing.
flex.
It's so funny.
I have a theory that Noah's picks are just making him become Tingle.
Oh no, no.
Oh. Does the Go Beyond ship have balloons on it?
Or what's the guy's name from Wind Waker that has the stores, and he's like, "Hello, thank you."
Oh, Beetle.
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 Oh,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
Beetle.
Oh man, I was hoping someone would draft the Sploosh guy from Wind Waker.
Oh,
that has
that's my
that has the-
favorite
That has
guy.
the cannon minigame. Great sound effect.
I had him
God,
on a list.
Boom.
You might be seeing some Wind Waker characters coming up.
That's true, and in fact, it's Alex's turn right now. And Alex, you do have a character slot open to you, as well as a super flex and a final item / ability. So we are in round 6. It's your pick. What's it going to be?
So it's actually going to be a Wind Waker character. Speaking of the devil,
Oh.
I was a little worried that Hilary was going to pick this one, but fortunately she drafted Lucas's first video game crush instead. So I get to draft mine, which is Medley from Wind Waker.
Oh,
Nice.
So I think Medley's just a great character. She's like the first like major Rito in the series.
Aw, yeah.
She has like this really cool kind of like in Wind Waker they had more of kind of like a humanoid bird form rather than the full-on bird they become in like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. She plays the harp, which is very, very nicely. And she's just like her and what's his name, Makar, the Korok from Wind Waker. They're like
Mhm.
the first sages that really like feel like just like people. You're introduced them as like people, and they sort of become sages. They become like these larger characters in the world. And I thought that was really cool. And I also really appreciated how they're like kind of the first real like party members you get in the series to an extent that I don't think has really been done since. Like in their respective temples, you get to not only like have them accompany you through the temple, but you even get to like control them in parts to like help solve puzzles and things like that. So Medley's kind of like one of the other, playable characters in the game ultimately. And she, if you're carrying her, she also like helps you fly, so she's also kind of like the original paraglider.
yeah, kind of like the
Mhm.
kind of like the flying rooster from Link's Awakening, the original, the
Mhm.
true original paraglider.
Yeah, I
And-
respect her a little more by calling her the paraglider rather than a
Fair.
rooster.
The flying rooster.
But yeah, I mean, she's a great character that you kind of get to actually interact with and as, which just makes her feel like more of a character than a lot of other NPCs in these games. So yeah, Medley it is.
Nice. That was definitely on my radar, but being slightly less familiar with Wind Waker than some other Zeldas, not as high on the list as the stuff I grabbed. But good choice.
Cool. So Lucas, we are at the end of round 6 now. So you have 2 picks in a row. End of round
Okay.
6 and beginning of round 7.
I don't think it's actually in danger at this point, but I am going to go ahead and do one of my flexes because I am just nervous enough after my comment last time that I want to go for it. So when I mentioned I was getting a ninja, someone mentioned, "Oh, we're getting our first Zelda, or we're getting a Zelda pick," and
Oh.
Uh-huh.
the reason I didn't want to draft that version of Zelda is because I want to draft Sheik from Smash Brothers instead.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I'm assuming this is the top tier melee version of Sheik.
I was actually looking at the Smash Brothers Wii U version.
Oh.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
It's a deep cut.
Smash 4.
Unexpected. Smash 4 Sheik.
So, Smash 4 Sheik is after they split Zelda and Sheik into separate characters, so they get the down B effect.
Right.
But,
oh yeah, they get an extra move. That's right.
But it's before they shifted it into the costume change from the later games. Because I think in Ultimate they changed it to basically the way that Link's Sheikah armor looks in Breath of the Wild.
In Ultimate, Sheik looks more like Breath of the Wild, and Zelda looks more like Link Between Worlds.
Yes. So there was a reason for the specific cut there. It is a moment in time where it's still Ocarina of Time Sheik, but has all 4 of their moves. I figured I'd better get it just to be safe, even though there's only one more character slot left, and that's a flex. But you know what? Sheik is awesome, and it completes my my ninja trio. So yeah.
Right on. But you still have another pick to go, Lucas. You have a
do.
location slot and a Zelda series flex slot.
Okay. I'm going to go with my location. I'm going to go with the Yiga hideout from Breath of the Wild.
Okay, good. There was no danger of me getting that thing. I mean,
No.
my thoughts on stealth segments are well established by now.
But again, you know what makes the stealth section better?
If you have a team of ninjas and a magic cape.
If you have a team of ninjas and a magic cape fighting down their ancestral enemies.
Right on.
I love this game that you've made, Lucas. Like, this is beautiful.
And Lucas, I recall the last time I did a draft with you, you also were not playing the same game anyone else was playing. We did a Final Fantasy draft where you basically made a band.
I mean, that's basically what Hilary's doing.
That is, in fact, what I'm doing.
That is true. Yeah, Hilary's got a bit of a musical edge to her setup as well. Yeah, you have a singer and a bard and a conductor.
Uh-huh.
All right. I feel silly it took me this long to realize that.
And a concert venue.
And a concert venue.
That's true. Aleks, you don't have to necessarily pick a theme like Lucas or Hilary are doing, but you do have one item/ability slot and one Nintendo Flex slot. So what is your 7th round pick going to be?
Okay, so I'm gonna put a bit of a spin on it, and we'll see how you guys react. I'm gonna draft my other item, which is gonna be the remote bombs from Breath of the Wild. But the real reason I'm doing it is because I main Link in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and I love those remote bombs so much. I normally don't go for zoners in fighting games, but man, the things you can do with like dropping the remote bomb, kicking it around, hitting it with your boomerang or your bow, and just like doing some really dirty galaxy brain zoning is just like, it activates something in my brain I've never had activated before, and it's just made him my favorite character in that game for sure. And just playing around with the remote bombs is a big part of it. They're also fun in Breath of the Wild, but that's not the real reason I'm doing this pick.
I know that Breath of the Wild is not your reason, but I really was so impressed how they give you basically these 4 key verbs other than sword and bow and glider in Breath of the Wild, in the bombs, the stasis, the freeze, and
Magnesis.
magnesis. And they did so much with puzzles and interactions with those that I was frankly expecting someone to draft stasis or magnesis by now. But yeah, maybe one of the best versions of Zelda bombs. I mean, I'm very partial to the nice bombs from Link Between Worlds, but my bias is again very clear by now. Great pick, Aleks.
Thank you.
Hey, the one thing that Breath of the Wild bombs and Link Between World bombs have in common is they don't run out.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. They're a function of your energy or magic meters, and not by a bomb count. That's true.
Don't need to be paranoid and running to bomb flowers anymore.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Noah, you had some very unconventional picks in these first 6 rounds, but almost a very conventional draft order, because your 6 main slots are already spoken for, and you have 2 flexes to go. One that is Zelda series only, and one that is any Nintendo series. So, what is your round 7 pick going to be?
I'm going to continue along the sort of like order of operations here. I'm going to pick the canon one, the Zelda series one, and I'm going to pick a character. I'm going to pick the Fishman from Wind Waker, which is the character in Wind Waker that will impart you pieces of a map if you throw bait into the ocean. Because I'm going to need a map maker.
Okay.
I think this is maybe an overpowered Zelda character, honestly, because I will always have maps wherever I go. If I go into a dungeon, I don't have to search for the map. I got the map maker himself with me.
You just need a lot of bait.
I just need lots of bait. I just got to keep. But here's the thing: I have a rod that lets me infinitely make food. So
Yes.
So you need
one.
You need one piece of bait, and then for Zelda to make an echo out of it. Yeah,
I only need it to show up one single time. I've got bait forever, and I've got maps forever. So that's my flex, my first flex.
You're trying to break this game in such an oddly specific way. I respect the hustle, although I'm not sure I would have drafted a single thing on your team other than Zelda and Ricky.
Yes, but here's the thing. What other character in any video game ever says the phrase "che"?
I mean,
Yeah.
Aleks and I already know. Like there's the bomb, the cannon guy mini game that goes boom,
Sploosh.
I love the sounds characters make in Zelda.
Wind Waker sound design is pretty top notch.
It is,
but
true.
Okay. Speaking of top notch, that's the worst transition of the episode. I feel bad about it, but I got to move forward anyway. It's my turn right now. I have a location and a Nintendo Flex left, and I'm gonna pick my Nintendo Flex next because I think that it's both of these are astronomically low chances of being drafted by Hilary soon, but this one's maybe slightly more likely. I wanted something that fits in with Zelda a little bit, so I decided to go with another Nintendo series that has some slightly non-linear navigable areas, and picked my favorite level from a recent one of these great Nintendo games that I think in a dark, twisted alternate universe could have been a Zelda dungeon sometime or another. And of course, all of you already know what the answer is. It's the Wondaria ruins from Kirby: The Forgotten Land.
Oh,
It's one of the principal zones in that game where Kirby is sort of transported to a strange post-apocalyptic world, and Wondaria is an amusement park. So
God.
It's basically an abandoned post-apocalyptic amusement park full of color and roller coasters and merry-go-rounds that Kirby has to navigate his way through, but it's in a state of disrepair and populated by nightmare creatures, including a deadly clown / acrobat at the end, in sort of the big top finale of Wondaria Remains. But Yeah, the idea of like Zelda characters navigating a definitely abandoned, possibly haunted amusement park and everything within. It's one of my favorite recent new levels that Nintendo's made in any of their games. And yeah, I'm not sure how many Kirby and the Forgotten Land fans we have here on the panel, but that level is super good. Trust me on this one.
I haven't played it, but I want to now.
I
Yeah,
like what I've played of it, although I have a limited experience with that level so far.
it's really good. I played the entire game in co-op with my girlfriend,
Oh.
and it's maybe even more fun playing that game as a duo. I'm very picky about my Kirby. I think it's probably the best Kirby game of the last 25 years or so.
Wow.
So what you've made essentially is Minecraft then, because you got lots of things to manipulate with your Ultra Hand in
Oh,
that
yeah.
level.
Yeah, absolutely. I can burn things and spin them around and reflect beams. Sure. If any of those like I don't think beam copy abilities are in that game, but I have to double check. So yeah, I guess I'm the only Kirby in the Forgotten Land player here. There was no danger of this pick being sniped by someone else, but trust me on this one. It's a really excellent level. Y'all should play this Kirby game.
Yeah, I'm
But,
definitely planning to.
I want to play more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've played a little, but I will play more.
And again, I also highly recommend the co-op in that game. But Hilary, I'm not sure if you're going to go with any co-op specific picks. You have two in a row. One of them is your final item / ability, and the other is your Nintendo anything flex. So go ahead and give us your final pick of the 7th round.
All right. Got to make sure this is still allowed because Sheik is on the table. And if not, I have a backup. I'm going to go with the Goddess Harp. Since no one picked Skyward Sword, I'd like to snag a harp as an item.
I intentionally drafted a version of Sheik that didn't have the Goddess Harp.
Okay. Great.
That was actually part of my logic of not doing like the Hyrule Warriors one was I didn't want the version with a harp.
Wow.
I wanted those moves.
Well, thank you for that.
All right, as the commissioner of this draft, I'll allow it.
Okay. I mean, more instruments, but I had a whole set of them from Link's Awakening to pick from too. So
Very true.
love that.
I'm a wind marimba person myself, but the Goddess Harp is very nice indeed.
The Wind Marimba is great. One of my favorites.
I think that was my first encounter with the word marimba, an instrument I ended up playing a lot in high school and college. So that was a fun surprise. But speaking of fun surprises, Hilary, you have one more pick to go. It is the first pick of round 8, and it can be damn near anything you want that hasn't already been picked by someone else.
Yep. Well, you'll have figured out what I'm doing. I am putting a band together with a conductor and some venues, and music is central to Hyrule, so I wanted to preserve it, make it eternal. So I got the Temple of Time. And my last pick, to ensure that we can delve into lots of different genres and have some fun making all sorts of different types of music, is KK Slider from Animal Crossing.
Oh, that's good. I was thinking, what Nintendo musician is she going to pick? And I should have seen that one coming.
That's the one.
So perfect. Ties it all
Yes.
together so
Thank you.
nicely.
Fabulous. I mean, KK Slider even gets a tokusatsu song in the most recent Animal Crossing. So
Yeah.
this pick is a 10 out of 10 as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you.
What's going to be the name of your band? That's the question that I have, though.
Hilary, you don't need to answer that because we will be addressing that at the end of the episode. Anyone that's listened to one of our draft episodes knows this already.
Okay. All right.
Oh.
Good. I have time to think about it now.
Yeah. Good plan, because we're not quite there yet. We still have 4 picks to go. The next one of which is mine. I have only one slot left to pick, and that is location. How do I put this? I love Zelda dungeons. I think that like Zelda games are sort of defined by their key items and their key dungeons, which is why I have some issues with Zelda games that are sort of light on dungeons, but we don't need to go over that right now. But so I was trying to think of my favorite dungeons from different Zelda games. I already drafted Thieves' Hideout. We talked about Snow Peak Ruins a little bit, is one that is on my list. But there was really 4 or 5 I was going between, and I think I'm going to go with something I did not think was in danger of being drafted. The Ancient Tomb from Legend of Zelda: Oracle of Ages. The Ancient Tomb is a little bit straightforward. It's like an inverted pyramid. The top floor is very wide and it gets narrower as you go down. But the key thing is that it repeats gimmicks from the previous 7 dungeons, and you have to use all 7 items that you found in previous dungeons to solve every puzzle. And they give you an upgraded power glove to just to gate part of the dungeon away from you. But when I think of a 2D Zelda dungeon that is sort of a real grand finale that feels like it's taking the best of the dungeons throughout the game, Ancient Tomb is one of my favorites. I don't think it's a very popular pick for favorite dungeon, so I was sort of intending to draft this one last from the beginning, although I also thought it was very unlikely anyone would draft Wandaria Remains. But, I mean, if any of you are close to replaying Oracle of Ages, like, look forward to that Ancient Tomb, because it's a real banger of a Dungeon 8 for a Zelda game.
Oracle of Ages is actually one of the ones I haven't played, and is on my list towards the top of my to-do list.
Lucas, my guy, you even tried to draft the Rocks Cape.
I made a giant spreadsheet and did lots of research on the games I haven't played.
Spreadsheet justifies it.
Well, I really do value the Oracle duo quite highly. So it's not an accident. I wanted to get something from one of them, and I went with Ancient Tomb over Sword and Shield Maze, or some items like the Magna Gloves, the Rocks Cape. But yeah, I really like Ancient Tomb from Oracle of Ages. That's all I have to say on the matter. But Noah, you still have one pick left. We're in round 8, and your pick is the Nintendo Flex. So you can go pretty broad with this, but it has to be from a game developed by a first or second party Nintendo studio. So, like, yes, I know that Final Fantasy VI is on the Super Nintendo, but stay within reason here. What is your pick in the final round going to be?
So in a typical draft, this is when you start drafting the kickers. And so I figured I would draft the best kicker that I know in Zelda history. I was actually a little nervous about this when Lucas picked Sheik from Smash 4. I'm gonna pick Young Link from Super Smash Bros. Melee as my Nintendo non-canon flex pick, because first of all, the bomb cheesing with Young Link is just so delicious, and his neutral A air is a seriously powerful kick, and so that's my pick.
And those fire arrows, man! Oh my god,
Oh,
I have a friend who loves playing Young Link, and those fire arrows, just like getting popped and popped and popped by them. They're so fast, just absolutely brutal.
Yeah, he can torment for sure.
And I'm trying to remember here. Which Smash is this Young Link from? Because I know, I mean,
Melee.
Melee. Okay, so Lucas was very specific about Smash 4 Sheik. So this is specifically Smash Melee Young Link. Did Young Link sort of get replaced by Toon Link?
No, so Young Link is in Ultimate as well.
Yeah, right. They basically brought everything back from Ultimate. That's right.
Yeah.
But
Smash 4 even had Charizard separate from Pokemon Trainer.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I feel like I needed a Link, so that's my favorite Link.
And I didn't need no damn Link. I got 2 bros going on a road trip.
True.
Aleks technically has 2 Links, but you could go for a third one if you desire, because you do have a Nintendo Flex yet to pick, and it can be almost anything you want within reason, Aleks. So what's it going to be?
Yeah, considering Zelda is kind of the series of my childhood, and like many young boys who play video games, it made me obsessed with swords. I was kind of thinking of, like, what are other Nintendo characters that have swords? And not many came to mind, but one did, and one that I love is my favorite character from his respective game, but he doesn't always have a sword. It's actually quite hard to get. That is Pooh from Earthbound.
Oh.
Prince Pooh from Earthbound.
With the Sword of Kings, yes. Pooh is just an awesome character. That intro of him kind of like having to do like the meditation and having his limbs torn out like is kind of one of the most memorable moments in an RPG still for me. And
That's terrifying.
I did actually manage to get the Sword of Kings on one playthrough, and I was just absolutely thrilled about it. It didn't even take me much longer than an hour. And
Wow.
so yeah, I got really lucky. And so yeah, I welcome Pooh as a fellow swordsman to accompany my Majora's Mask Link.
I think that's a 1 out of 128 drop or 1 out of 256 drop. So it's you were very lucky indeed to get that. I got the Sword of Kings once. It was by accident, and many years later, when I tried to grind for it, I couldn't get it. So maybe the secret is not trying to get it. But I don't think that's represented in the statistics.
Definitely still lends the spooky, like kind of creepy pasta atmosphere.
Yeah, that is
my
what
God, yeah.
I'm going for with my theme, kind of. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also, I mean, Pooh will give you teleport beta, which will help you travel
Yes.
around quite a bit.
Oh,
Mhm.
absolutely. Yeah. Good point.
Just
So you can manipulate time in Clocktown and space with Prince Pooh. It's
just
pretty good.
be careful you have the right food to feed him. He's kind of picky.
Absolutely. We'll provide for Pooh for sure. We got Latti's bar over in Clocktown.
That's true.
So Lucas, you have one flex pick left as the final pick of the Legend of Zelda Retro Encounter draft. It's a Zelda flex, so you don't have quite as much freedom as Aleks and Noah just had in their picks. But I mean, you've been going with this Legend of Ninja theme this whole time. I'm curious as to where you're going here. What is the final pick of the final round?
I had a couple things left on my list, but I think I'm just going to go with the, when you're trying to sneak around, you can't let doors stop you. So I'm going to choose the magic key
From the first Zelda,
from the original Legend of Zelda, which lets you open any door and works infinitely.
That's right. I remember that. That is good. I didn't
Because-
think of that because I wasn't really thinking of the first Zelda when I was sort of making my board, but that's the implications of that item are very powerful.
That'll be so good for speedrunning the entire series.
I was
Yes.
thinking that. One of my board headers was literally just make it broken, and it was like fierce deity mask, magic key. Just like,
I love
how
that.
ridiculous can we make this? And then I was like, I wouldn't actually want to play this game. It doesn't sound fun.
You don't want games to be too broken, just the right amount
Exactly.
of broken, right?
Just the right amount of broken.
Yeah, it's okay to make a game imbalanced as long as it's in the interest of fun and never gets boring. I mean, like when I think of people complaining about fighting game balance, it always goes back to it's like, man, people love Marvel 2 and Third Strike and Smash Melee, which are 3 games that are completely solved and broken and tiered. But the point isn't perfect balance. The point is having fun. And I hope that all 5 of us had fun in this Retro Encounter Fantasy Draft episode.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much, Hilary, Noah, Aleks, and Lucas, for engaging in the silly exercise with me today. But we are not quite done yet. There is one last thing we all have to do, and that is pick team names for each of our respective teams. But before we do that, I will go into some housekeeping and then announce the final versions of each of our teams. Well, what should I do first? Let's go through the teams first. So far, we'll do in reverse draft order. Hilary's team is Wind Waker Link and Cass from Breath of the Wild, equipped with an ocarina, a goddess harp, and Marin from Link's Awakening, equipped with / accompanied by, and they are performing in the Crossflows Plaza, the Temple of Time, alongside KK Slider. My team is Ravio and Sidon, equipped with an Ultra Hand, a nice fire rod, and a mirror shield, exploring the Thieves' Hideout, the Ancient Tomb, and the Wandaria remains from Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Noah's team is starring Zelda herself from Echoes of Wisdom, Ricky from the Oracle games. They're equipped with a Yoshi doll, a flashing tunic, and are exploring Outset Island in the Go Beyond ship. Also joining them are the Fishman from Wind Waker and specifically the Super Smash Brothers Melee version of Young Link. Alex's team is Link from Majora's Mask alongside Medley and Dark Link from Ocarina of Time, Pooh from Earthbound. They're equipped with a Rock's Feather, remote bombs, and are exploring or living in Clocktown and the Snow Peak ruins. Lucas's team is Pura from Breath of the Wild, Impa specifically from Age of Calamity, Sheik specifically from Smash 4 for the Wii U, and they are equipped with a double claw shot, a magic cape, and a magic key, and are exploring the Gerudo Fortress and the Iga's hideout. So whoever wants to go first, let's tell everyone our team names. I'll go first, give you guys a few extra seconds to scramble for an answer. We've already established that my group is Ravio and Sidon going on a road trip, just having a good time. So I decided to name my team Bros Before Dodongos.
Nice.
So does anyone else have their team name ready to go?
Yeah, I guess I'll go next with the Legend of Sheikah.
The Legend of Sheikah.
I'm gonna go with Pyramid of Power as opposed to the Triforce, which is just a flat triangle. And also sort of reference to the fact that I'm kind of making a pyramid scheme with my, my thing. Where we're just going off to island and giving people Yoshi dolls that when they get about 100 feet away will go away forever. So that's where we're at.
So when Noah enters his name into the like the create a file screen, he types in PONZI. Got it.
That's right. Ponzi scheme was actually invented by a woman as well, and
yeah,
so
it was invented.
Zelda...
It was invented long before Charles Ponzi
Right.
Did his like currency exchange scheme, but it became very, very famous when he did it in the 1920s.
Right.
So it's associated with his name forever.
But it's sort of fitting that Zelda's the head of this empire, this pyramid scheme that I've made.
Yeah, I'm gonna call mine Dark Side of the Link, as Medley just plays the bass line from Money on her harp.
Oh, that's so good.
Nice.
Link Floyd. Oh, I love that.
Link Floyd. Wow. It took us over an hour 40 minutes to get there, but we got there.
I'm not gonna top that.
That's pretty good.
I'm not going to top that.
You can steal that name if you really want to, because you are trying to name a band here. What is the band?
No, go ahead.
I was gonna change my team name to Link Floyd, and then our first album was gonna be Dark Side of the Link.
Okay, perfect. All right, so we have Link Floyd.
All right,
from Aleks.
Love it. I feel like maybe Wind Waker Link would want to name the band something like that with Link in it, but then Marin's the singer, right? And the only precedent I really have for Zelda bands is the Indiegogo's. So I thought maybe I would go with something like the Bow Wows, another Link's Awakening.
Oh,
nice. Nice. That's actually a killer name.
Yeah.
And their rap spinoff can be called Medium Bow Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go. And quick apology to Lucas, because I somehow missed the Final Fantasy draft, and I was totally unaware you also did a band. So that's kind of wild.
All good. Great minds.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I will say that there were 5 great minds involved in this draft, but each of us was playing a distinctly different game. Even though we somehow we did occasionally get in each other's way with specific picks. But I think everyone had a plan, and no one's plan was similar to anyone else's. So thank you so much for this very entertaining episode, or at least I should say I was entertained.
Yep.
Listeners, I hope you were entertained. Lucas, did you say something?
I said, oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Oh, yeah.
Kaboom.
listeners-
Sorry.
Sploosh.
Okay, listeners, I hope you enjoyed this fantasy draft episode of Retro Encounter. We do have a lot more Zelda episodes planned for the rest of this month. Next week is going to be a spoiler cast about The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, which we did talk about a couple times in this episode. I finished that game fairly recently and had a really good time doing so. It definitely enters my canon of favorite Zelda games, but where on the list is a thought exercise I'm not prepared for right now. But we're going to be having a spoiler cast all about that game next week. And then in 2 weeks and 3 weeks from now, we're doing 2 episodes on another game we've mentioned a couple times here, The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, one of the truly groundbreaking, informative games for the Zelda series in general and for the Super Nintendo in general. That game's a classic. I've beaten it a couple times, and I will probably start it very, very soon because we have not recorded those episodes yet. I don't want to get too far behind the 8 ball now that I'm finally finished with Metaphor. So I have some more time on my hands. But and speaking of Metaphor Fantasio, we are going to do a spoiler cast on that game. I'm pretty sure that's going to be the first episode of December, so I guess 4 weeks from now. And following that, we are doing 2 episodes on the Dragon Quest 3. I believe that everyone on that panel is going to be playing the HD 2D remake, which comes out in a couple of weeks in mid-November. So you can please look forward to A Link to the Past, Dragon Quest 3, Metaphor Fantasio, and Echoes of Wisdom, but not necessarily in that order. If you want to see all the other things that RPG Fan has to offer, the easiest way to do so is to go to rpgfan.com, where we have news articles, game reviews, album reviews, and more podcasts every single day. And speaking of podcasts, Retro Encounter is not the only podcast in the RPG Fan Podcast Network. There's also Random Encounter every 2 weeks about what we're playing and RPG current events, and Rhythm Encounter about RPG music. Those are every alternating Monday, while Retro Encounter is typically every Thursday. You can also follow RPG Fan on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, or our own Discord, which we're always called RPG Fan or RPG Fancom. And maybe the best way to interact with RPG Fan is to give us money. You can do so on rpgfan.com/shop, where we have 2 storefronts. One hosted by TeePublic, where you can get RPG Fan accessories and apparel, and a second hosted by Hyperplay RPG, a UK-based publisher of the RPG Fan Reviews Collection, a 300-plus page tome of one-page RPG reviews from the website's history. So please interact with RPG Fan however you choose in any of those ways. Also, you can also email us, retro@rpgfan.com, I guess. I do check that every week. But speaking of our emails or ways to check us out, let's tell the listeners our individual social media or contact information that we are comfortable in sharing, starting with you, Aleks.
You can email me at alexfraniczek@gmail.com.
Now, Lucas.
I am on pretty much all of the social medias as Raefgal, Raefgall, and I upload YouTube videos every day on my channel with the same name.
And now, Hilary.
So best way to reach me is hilary@rpgfan.com.
Now, Noah.
Yeah, you can follow me at Noah K on Blue Sky. And yeah.
And listeners, I'm pretty easy to find on the internet. I am at Evoker for Dogs on Blue Sky, Instagram, and RPG Fans Discord. So, folks, we did it. We talked about 40 Zelda things. We kept it to under 2 hours, and I'm very proud of both of those facts. But you know, if we had gone over 2 hours, I think Aleks could have helped us out, taken Majora's Mask Link back to Clock Town, maybe borrow Hilary's ocarina or something.
Yeah.
And we could have, maybe this isn't the first time we've attempted this podcast. You don't know. Maybe this is a time loop.
Yeah, thank goodness. It would have gotten into the after party time. Because the after party's happening at the Go Beyond ship. Let's go. Yacht party.
I cannot believe that was your 4th or 5th round pick. You went with Wand of Gamelon.
None of the other 2 or the other 4 picks would have been taken.
And you drafted something from the Wand of Gamelon and didn't even draft the Wand of Gamelon. I'm just, oh boy, this draft really was full of surprises. Listeners, thank you. Good night and good luck.